Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm so sorry for the delay in getting a video up. Mark has been away all week on a work trip and I have been temporarily single parenting, which is hard, and I just want to give like all the props in the world to those single parents that have to do it day in and day out and don't get the reprieve that I do at the end of this week and when Mark gets home. So it's really hard, and like full-time job going on and all of that. So I apologize that this video is a little later than I wanted it to be, but here we are, better late than never. And speaking of this video, it is another Project Pan Get Ready With Me. I don't think I've filmed one since February, so we're now getting to the end of May. I thought it was a good time to film another one. And basically what I do in this video is use products from all three of my Project Pans, which I'll explain in a second, and just put them on my face and try and use as many as I can in a look. And the project pans that I am currently working on are a 5-pan rolling project pan. I'm just working on 5 products, kind of runs the gamut in terms of like what category they fall into, and I'm using all of them until they're finished is the goal right now. And then I also have a Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan, which is another 5 products, but they're all eyeshadows randomly selected from my collection, and I use them until I hit pan. And then I also have a Shop My Stash, which I am referring to as a Shop My Stash project pan because my goal with all of those products is to use them at least 5 times. So I'm certainly going to focus on my 2 like actual project pans and then fill in with any products coming from my Shop My Stash project pan. So with all of that being said, let's get into it and I will show you the look that I create. I'm going to start off with my Glassy Touch and Skull Pretty Filter Skin Balm. This is in my rolling 5-pan project pan. As you can see, we are very close to it being done, which is so exciting. This has been in the project since the very beginning. And I love this primer under my Too Faced Born This Way foundation, which is also in my rolling project pan, so that actually works out perfectly. This shade, as you can tell, is obviously a little too dark for me, so I've been mixing it with this NARS foundation. So I just do probably like half a pump of that, and then I squeeze in about the same amount of this shade, and then just mix them together. So progress on my Too Faced Born This Way has been slow for that reason exactly. I'm only using about a half pump instead of a normal full pump, but the shade is just too dark for me. And I haven't really been self-tanning, nor have I, as you can tell, I don't have a natural tan right now either, although we are heading to the beach in about a week, so maybe I'll get a little tan then. And I'll definitely be self-tanning before the beach, so I'll probably be able to use this fully at that point. Just gonna grab a brush and we're gonna blend all of this in. Okay, foundation is on and I'm going to do a little bit of eye primer first. This is just a Morphe eye primer. It is not in my project pan, but I am very close to actually, I think, being done with it. So that's exciting. Just to finish some makeup up without trying to, I guess. I'm going to set my face now and I'm going to use the Ciate London Everyday Vacay Coconut Setting Powder. This is in my, when I have black pants on and a bunch of white powder just fell on it. This is in my Shop My Stash project pan. And I usually like to use like a brush like this, but I think I'm gonna use this one this time. Yeah. This powder smells very good. It smells like coconut. Moving this powder into my Shop My Stash, I believe, was the first time that I ever used it actually. So it's just ridiculous that I still have like products in my collection that I've never even used. So it was definitely necessary to get it in a project pan, and I use it at least 5 times. So I now have a sense like how I feel about it, and I do like the way like it makes like sets my foundation. I love the way it smells. I feel like I have to blend a little bit more because it like comes up like a little like white at first, as you probably saw, but otherwise I think it's good. So next I'm gonna do the eyes. I'm going to pool, and I think you probably saw me do this in my tutorial that I did for my Pan Those Eyeshadows video, but I'm gonna pull from Moi Excited and my Alamar Spanglish palette, and I'm gonna mix that with my Positivity and my Jaclyn Hill Morphe palette and use that in my crease. A very bright crease shade, but we gotta work with it because we need to use these colors. Now I'm grabbing this Kaja Moon Crystal. This was in my Shop My Stash project pan, and I'm just gonna put this on my fingers and just blend this out on the lid. I think it's gonna make my lid shades really pop. Have any of you ever done like a local meat share or a CSA before, which is like where you pick up like vegetables from a farmer on a regular basis? Because Mark and I are doing both this year, actually. Thought it would be a really cool opportunity to support some local farms in our area. And so we're doing a meat share. We're doing a half share. So we get a certain amount of meat every month. And then with our vegetable, like CSA, every 2 weeks, we can go online and kind of pick like what we want from their like farm store. I did the Farmer's Choice this week and they just kind of picked for us. So super cool. I mean, it's definitely more expensive than going to Aldi, which is where we normally grocery shop. But I feel really good about like supporting local farms, and yeah, I don't know, it's cool. And you know, like it's really fresh stuff. Like it hasn't been had to be grown and then packaged and transferred. It's like all right here, so it's really cool. I'm really happy about it. I should probably tell you what I'm doing. I'm taking my Kiko Milano eyeshadow in the shade 200. This is in my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan, and I'm just putting this on over that Kaja eye base on the first half of my lid. And next I'm gonna pick up Flawed and Odd, which again is part of my Pan Those Eyeshadows project pan, and I'm gonna put that on the outer half of the lid. So I've used 4 shades from my Pan Those Eyeshadows project, so I just gotta use the 5th shade, and it is Sapphire from my, I like forgot the name of this palette, from my Kathleen Lights ColourPop So Jaded palette. And I'm picking that up on a really skinny angled brush, and I'm just going to line my upper lid with it. Now I'm going to grab my Fenty Beauty bronzer in the shade Island Ting. As you can see, we are still making some good progress on this bronzer. I'm so excited about how far we've come in this project pan. And so sorry, this is in my rolling 5-pan project pan. I've been very dedicated to this bronzer over the last like 5 months or so. Been pretty much exclusively the bronzer that I've been using, which is kind of crazy because like I still have so much product in here. I don't know, I always talk about this when I talk about project pan stuff, but it's just so crazy like how long it takes you to use some products, even when you're like super consistent with them. I don't know. To me, I'm like amazed every time. I want to do like a video talking about like tips for project panning and also things I've learned, and just like, I guess it makes sense of like things I learned, but it's almost like things that I never even thought of or didn't like consider until I started like seriously project panning. That being said, I never actually have done like a full year because I started in 2020 and then I got pregnant, and I had some pretty bad like morning sickness, and I think I said this like in some of my videos when I came back, of like it was just so hard to even like make it through the workday, let alone like try and think about like filming. Unfortunately, I had to prioritize my career, even though I love this so much. And then I wasn't wearing a ton of makeup at that point anyways because we weren't going anywhere, so that kind of fizzled out. And then I started again in 2021, and I just got really busy like being a brand new mom. That again also fizzled out, and then I went back to work. And it sounds like so bad because it sounds like I am a total quitter, and that's so opposite of like my personality. It's just, we've been using this term at work, like dynamic reprioritization, of like when you're in the moment like and something takes priority, like how are you adjusting your workload in that moment to take that on. And I feel like I did a little bit of dynamic reprioritization with my life, and unfortunately like project panning just didn't bubble to the top, even though I like absolutely wish it could have. I think it would have been really cool to have 2 years of project panning under my belt instead of like chunks of each of those times. But we are getting through 12 months this year. You have my word, it is happening. Even still, I feel like I've had some good learning lessons and takeaways from the experiences that I have so far. So I still think I could film that video, but I want to be transparent that like I've never done like a full year. So anyways, all right, now I'm grabbing this Kylie Jenner blush in the shade Rosy. This is in the Shop My Stash project pan. I love this blush because of how pink it is, because I'm really like into that, I don't know if it's like sunburn look, but I just like a really blushy look, and I love it like over my nose. And I'm gonna pick up my Becca highlight in Champagne Pop. This is another one that's in the Shop My Stash project pan, and I'm just going to grab a brush and put that on the high points of my face, my tip of my nose, and my cupid's bow. I will use this as my inner corner highlight, but first I'm going to do some liner and like smudge out my lower lash line. This black liner, you probably keep seeing it, is in my Shop My Stash project pan. I think I've worked on it in a project pan in the past. I just really want to finish it, and yet I feel like it just continues to persist. It's really hard to use this up apparently. Threw that on my waterline. And then I'm going to go back into my Alamar Spanglish palette and pick up the shade Moi Excited on my brush. And then just smudge out that liner on my lower lash line. Okay, now I'm going back into that Becca Champagne Pop highlight and putting that in my inner corner. I love using my highlights a lot of time as my inner corner because I feel like it really like ties the look together, or at least in my mind it does. I think that's it. Sometimes when I have a brighter crease shade, I actually like to go into this So Jaded palette and pick up this like Cream My Precious color, which like is not part of this any project pan at all, but I feel like it just kind of helps blend these really bright crease shades up. And so I usually kind of like really light hand just kind of blend that on the edge of that. Okay, next is my Florence by Mills Zero Chill Face Mist. This is part of my 5-pan rolling project pan, and I'm just gonna spritz my face. I like that because I like a more natural look, but I do like to set my face with powder, so that kind of helps the powder really sink into my face and everything like meld together, which hopefully makes everything look more like skin instead of makeup. Okay, just a few more things left to do. Next is brows. This isn't part of any project pan, but I'm pretty much exclusively using this product right now. It's the ABH Brow Freeze Wax. I just am like so not a brow person, and so I'm not like, I don't know, I don't try that hard with brows. Like I'll occasionally fill in my brows, but to be perfectly honest, like most of the time I just brush them up, grab some of this wax, and set them in place, which is what I'm gonna do today. All right, another product that's not in a project pan is mascara. So right now I'm just using the Essence Princess on my top lashes, and then as always I'm using my Clinique lower lash mascara because otherwise I usually get transfer, and I have to curl my eyelashes because my eyelashes grow like stick straight out. All of you with naturally curled eyelashes, I'm so jealous. I actually just finished up a mascara. You'll see that in my next empties video, and it's so funny from going to like a really like dried, I guess, formula because I'm like at the very tail end of the product to something that's pretty much just like newly opened that's like very wet. It's like I have to remember how to use this formula versus like what I got used to using when I was finishing up my old one. Okay, last step is lips. So I'm going to grab this lip liner from Kiko Milano, and it is the shade 534. This is in my Shop My Stash project pan. I'm not sure if I've come around on lip liner yet, but I have sharpened this due to using it in this project. So that's more than I've done with a lip liner in a very, very long time. So I'm very pleased with that progress. And next I'm going to put on my lipstick that's in my project pan. This is the Maybelline Make Me Pink lipstick. We are getting so close. So I'm just gonna put that over the liner. The very last step is this Fenty lip gloss in the shade Fussy. This is also in my Shop My Stash project pan. I'm just gonna I'm gonna like scrape the side a little bit so there's less on the applicator and just do a little bit in the middle of my lip. And that's it, my friends. This is my full face of project panning items. Definitely all of my project pan items from my Rolling Style project pan and my Pandos eyeshadow project pan, and then a majority of the items from my Shop My Stash project pan. And I really like how this look came out. I'm super happy with it. That's one of the nice things when you are panning things that you really like. You get to create fun looks that you really enjoy, and you get to try new things and make new combinations, which I love as well. So I hope you all enjoyed this video and enjoyed getting to see how all my project pan products kind of work together and the look that I created. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you in my next one.